Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It is Tuesday, June 11th. So, I didn't mean to scare some of you guys, that haven't gotten into the profession yet. But you, that's part of learning, right? You need to know this stuff. And it doesn't matter whether you're doing small engine repair, auto mechanics, any type of repair work, even computer repair. It's like Jason said, once you touch it, you own it. So you need to do the best that you can to minimize, you know, the risk to the person that owns it. I mean, that means if they say, "Can you disconnect this safety switch underneath the seat?" Say, "I'm sorry, I can't." So we'll talk a little bit more about that, and I want to tell you about my day yesterday. It's one of those days where you wish you would have stayed in bed, right? All right. All right, welcome back. My name is Eric, if you didn't already know it, and this is the weekday. Monday through Friday, we talk about business, personal development, whatever sounds good for the day, right? And it's available on podcast as well. But yesterday we talked about the risk and how you can be held liable. And that's one of the first things that you're going to learn once you decide you're going to do warranty work, right? And the reason you're going to find out then is because most of them require a minimum of $5 million liability policy on you just to do warranty work. And there's a reason why, because they don't want it coming back on them. So, with you having a 5 million plus liability policy, once they send it to you, and you at this point, if you're doing warranty work, you, by all accounts in the court system, are now considered the resident expert. All right? You may have not seen an issue like this before on a particular mower, or this may be your first warranty work. But once you do the required classes to become a warranty shop and to do warranty repair, yes, they deem you as being an extension of them. You are the resident expert on their whole machine, the engine, what have you. And if you're having one of those days, off days, and you miss something, they can't come back on you. That's why we talked about here a few months back. But you can go, look at it. I'll see if I can post it up above it. You're only as good as you're at your last job, right? And when I say that, it means you're only as good as you have to take every unit that comes to you with the same professionalism, the same tenacity, the same. You have to give it your all, your best, especially when it comes to safety. Now, while we're talking about this topic, what I can tell you is the ones to kind of stay away from. You're looking at me like, what? Yeah. All right. So, however you pronounce it, Massimo, Missimo, Massimo Mimi, however you want to pronounce it. These units that are coming in from China, and we decided that since Tractor Supply was carrying this crap, that we would become a warranty shop to help them out. And it's one of those things, hindsight is 2020. Yeah. The go-karts cracking frames like crazy. The engines on the side by sides weren't holding up. The it was crap, to be honest with you. But we kept getting these work orders from Massimo about these go-karts and the cracked frames and could we weld them. All right. And we do weld as part of the shop, whether it's you welding on the deck to retin a spot where maybe a hole punched through or whatever, so to keep the grass down, or it's the main frame of an old John Deere mower. But where I finally said enough was enough was when we started seeing a lot of them, and that told me that it hasn't got the structural strength during production to hold together. See, these weren't breaking after they got used a while. These were coming through cracked. And so we just refused to work on them. We just said, no, we're not touching them. And the reason we didn't touch them was the liability. Now, most shops would say, yeah, I could weld that together. Well, it's perfectly fine, but let me tell you this much. If it broke here without being ridden on and abused, where else is it going to break after you weld that spot? Because that's the weak spot right now. But you weld that up, where's the next break going to happen? And it was like lawnmower blades the one year. It was like they didn't do the last tempering because they weren't rigid. They weren't a good solid mower blade. They flexed. And that's what I felt was going on with these go-karts and mini bikes. It was just one after another after another. So you have to be aware of that. That if you're, weekends and nights, homeowner, I wouldn't worry too much about it. But once you start getting into warranty and the manufacturer knowing that your hands have been on it, you need to have a good liability policy. Because it's going to be cover thy ass, right? And they're going to cover theirs. They're going to lawyer up so quick that you're going to be stuck in the water, dead in the water like a ducky with no feet, wondering what the hell happened. And I know over the last 20, 25 years, it's got so lawsuits are like winning the lottery. That's how people deem it. It's like instant lottery. And you got so many attorneys willing to chase anything. Before, we used common sense, but we don't use common sense anymore. It's going after and getting as much as we can for little to no effort. And if you can win a lawsuit with a crooked attorney, then you just won the lotto, right? But you probably also, somewhere down the line, took food away from a husband and wife, or a husband that's trying to provide for his family. But why should you care? You just won the lotto. So just be aware of that fact. If you're not doing warranty work, keep it in the back of your mind. But once you decide to take on warranty work and become a representative of those companies, they will let the consumer come after you first. And that's why you have to carry the policy. So on to the next. So all about my day, right? So what I did this weekend to save time, because I knew we were going to pick up one, possibly two tractors yesterday morning, all right? So on my dually, I had the cattle trailer hooked up. So I knew I had to unhook the cattle trailer and then hook up to the gooseneck fifth wheel flatbed that we use to haul the tractors on. So, in between working on haying equipment, I dropped the gooseneck cattle trailer. I got the flatbed hooked up and I parked it down to the garage or down to the shop so I'd be ready to go first thing yesterday morning because we told the guy we'd be there between 8:30 and 9. Now I go down to the shop normally around 6:30, and Claude rolls in around 7 to work on paint equipment. So, of course, it was raining yesterday morning. Pretty good. So, we checked all the tires in the trailer, and we hopped in and we headed to pick up the first tractor. And about halfway there, I see Claude look back, and I'm thinking the same thing at the same time. Did you grab the jump pack? Because every so often, the battery will get weak on the flatbed trailer, even though it's got a charging system through the truck. It still, that's why we carry the jump pack. So if we need to, we got the extra power to pull tractors. Because this one here, the first one, it was like the engine was running away with itself. So we get there, and Claude's like, oh, I hope that battery's got enough juice. Well, it had enough juice to get the cable so far out. But when it came to bringing it back in, no. And then the other issue was I had a bucket on it. And the bucket, to get the trailer so that you had the weight on the rear tandems, the bucket had to be in the air. So I just said, screw it. Claude says, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to drive the freaking thing on. He said, well, yeah, but it's going to race. I said, I'll feather it with a choke. So I got a thing to start, and I kept going and choking it to keep it from revving way out. Got the bucket in the air, got it up onto the trailer, and shut it off. Averted, right? Problem solved. So we got that all strapped down. And we headed back. And we're talking back and forth about the other one that we need to pick up is 1.5 miles back in a hayfield. Yeah. And I made the decision, we're not working on it there. It needs to be at the shop where we can put our hands on it, right? So I said, I know my side-by-side, we have struggles with it. I'm trying to figure out how to get 2 tractors over there and 2 tractors back, or one of ours over there to pull it out and then get them both back. And I said, well, I think my side-by-side can pull it. All right. So I said, let's take the 18-foot bumper tandem axle, and we'll go over with your, because his is a shorter machine than mine. His is a Yamaha. I got the Polaris. We get over there, and we hook a strap to it, and it won't pull it with the brush hog, so we had to unhook the brush hog right where it was. But once the brush hog was off, it pulled real easy. So I'm sitting on the tractor, and he's driving the side-by-side, and we've got a strap in between us, and pulling us all the way out through to the trailer. And now we're like, now what? All right, so what we ended up doing is we brought the side-by-side and the front of the tractor with the box on his side-by-side as close as we dared get, which was, you're talking an inch. And it's like, once you get going, don't stop. So we make a running shot at it, and the tractor gets about halfway up, and his side-by-side on the wet deck, now all 4 tires are spinning. I'm like, oh, Jesus. And we had measured it, so we knew that it was just going to get width-wise with the big tires on it. But length, we were kind of concerned about. We hoped we had enough. So I put the tractor in gear right where it was on the trailer. We pulled the side by side all the way to the front. We run the winch cable around the front so that it was actually pulling the side by side towards the front of the trailer, tight against it, underneath the side by side, and hooked it around the axle on the tractor. And sure enough, it pulled it right up so that we stuck some foam in between the bumper on his side by side and the front of the tractor so it wouldn't get marred. We still lacked. The trailer gate, the end gate, swings up, and it would only swing up so far. So I told Claude, I said, let's just take one of the big ratchet straps and ratchet strap the gate, because it's not going to get where we could put the pins in it. So let's just snug it up the best that we could. So that worked out well. We were able to winch it all the way up on to where we could almost shut the end gate. So we put the ratchet straps on that, strapped that down, and got that home. It was just before noon. We started out at a little after 8, and it's going on noon now. We're trying to get the 2 tractors back. And we physically had to push it off the trailer. And then we have a winch system in the shop that we can hook on to whatever we want and pull it the rest of the way into the shop. And that's how we do it. We don't push things, we pull it. So by the time we got it into the shop, because we left the other tractor right on the trailer with a dually, I knew I didn't have any need for it. We went ahead and unloaded the small trailer because I had a delivery to do. With Simplicity, that I put a deck belt on that was going home. So we got that all unloaded, took Claude's side by side up so he could put that away. And he took off, and I headed with a lawnmower for delivery. So when I got back, I was trying to decide what to do, so I decided to do a video. And so you'll see it today of what came into the shop. And I'm looking at these 3 Husqvarna saws, and I'm like, I still got time. Let me see what I can do with these. And I got all 3 to run. And I'm still going to do more work yet, because I got the bar and chains need some good looking at to see what's going on. I think the one chain is shot. Adjusting the high idle or the high speed jet on 2 out of the 3. And a good cleaning. But I felt pretty good about myself that I'd gotten that much stuff done in a day. Because normally you have a lot of interruptions, phone calls, what have you. But I'll post that video sometime this morning so that you guys can watch me work on that. So we ended up doing great yesterday, but it could have been so much worse because we had the rain against us in the beginning. The battery on the trailer was dead, and trying to figure out how we're going to load that tractor. The other tractor just barely squeezed on. We couldn't shut the end gate. It's a fold down on the 18-foot tandem, but the bumper hitch. But we were able to ratchet strap that up, so we only made the one trip. We didn't get a lot of repairs done, other than the 3 saws that I was working on, but we got everything back. So today is going to see if we can't get back on the haying equipment because I've got hay down. It's supposed to be nice today, tomorrow, and Thursday. So I can get that all rolled up, and I'm going to wrap that. So it's like a plastic wrap that we spin it and throw it on. So on that note, hopefully you guys have a great day today. If you're not a warranty shop, you know, don't let the liability push you out of contending with it. And I say that because it's nothing new. Anyone that's a dealership, anyone that's a warranty shop is facing the same thing and has faced the same thing since I was a kid. It's just when I was a kid, we used common sense. And now it's how we can get money without little to no effort. And that's why I call it winning the lottery. So on that note, you guys have a great Tuesday. I'll see you here bright and early tomorrow morning. On that note,